Is giving me a lot of wrong answers.
Really?
I've seen some crazy stuff pop up.
Never take any information as the Holy Grail. Filter it.
Hi, my name is Chris Browning.
And I'm Brittney Castro.
And welcome to Our 2 Cents, where we dive into the money topics that everyone is talking about.
Different perspectives, real talk.
All right, let's get into it. AI and finance. How do you feel about it when it comes to mixing that with your money?
So I personally love AI. I think there's so much good coming from it, saving a lot of time. It's helping consolidate all the information out there. For finance specifically, I think in general, it's always a good rule of thumb to take whatever you're learning from the internet, which I considered AI part of the internet, and apply it to your own situation. So it doesn't mean it's the perfect recipe for what you need to do, but it's a great starting point. And then from there, you can say, okay, whatever, maybe you said, how do I save more money? And it gave you 10 ideas or 10 ways to save more money, and you figure out which ones are going to be best for you.
Oh, see, I like that. Kind of taking it and trimming it down and verifying, because for me, my hesitation with AI,
tell me.
It's giving me a lot of wrong answers.
Really?
I've seen some crazy stuff pop up in these different AI searches, and that's always my concern with it, right? If it's not 100% guaranteed, which few things are, how much should I trust it with my money? And then if I'm someone who's already maybe a little shaky with my confidence and understanding of how I should be doing things, do I if I throw that out into the world and let someone use it, are they going to be led the wrong way by just one little tweak in the answer that's wrong?
Yeah, but I think in general, maybe because my rule of thumb is never take any information as the Holy Grail. Filter it and use your own brain and common sense and say, okay, is this still accurate for myself? But I think it's a great way to get information fast and streamline a lot of it, especially for finance. If you just say, hey, what's a Roth IRA? And it explains it quickly to you. That's so valuable, instead of someone trying to figure it out on their own and understand it through all these various resources.
Okay, that makes sense.
Am I changing your mind on this one?
Look, I'm not gonna lie. I'm using AI. I use these tools all the time, but I'm always just and it's only
going to get better. One gig I was potentially going to do was consulting as a CFP for AI answers. So they were going to have fact checks on, so it gets smarter and smarter, and the information becomes more and more accurate. So because maybe I know that side of it, I was thinking, this could only be more and more helpful for the user as it goes on.
Okay, that makes me feel a little bit better. So it's
as long as it's me fact checking, I don't know the other people.
Yeah, look, I know you're good and you know what you're talking about,
yeah.
But what if it's just another person who's using another chat bot to get the fact check on the first one?
Yeah.
But I get, if there's some checks and balances, I would feel a little bit more comfortable putting it out there for someone else to try out. All right, so I have a couple questions for you to follow up on this AI stuff, because also you mentioned you were a CFP.
Yes.
And you were working with CFP. So what is it exactly that CFP does, and what does that stand for?
It's Certified Financial Planner. So that's someone who's gone through all the experience requirements, education requirements, board exam, which was an intense 2-day board exam when I took it, and ethics requirement. And then you have to do continual education every 2 years to maintain your license. Wow. So less than 20% of the financial advisors out there in the US have this CFP credential. So I'm biased, of course, but I think everybody should be working with a CFP or getting their advice from a CFP, just because it's someone who's gone the extra mile in the finance space.
No, I agree. I always recommend people work with the CFP because the training you're talking about.
Yeah.
But you put in all this effort, all this time into getting this credential to prove that you know your stuff. But are you afraid that now you're going to be giving up all that knowledge from one of these AI tools and training it to take over the industry and take away your job and others' jobs?
No, because my belief is people will always want to connect with people. At the end of the day, they always want somebody who's the living, breathing person they could call and ask. And I had an example of this recently. A family member actually texted me, and this person knew the answer and could look it up online, ask AI, but still asked me, is life insurance death benefit tax-free? Because they were going through the real scenario of it now playing out in their life, and he wanted to confirm. And it was interesting because I was like, oh, this is it. This is exactly someone just wants a qualified person to confirm the answer because they're in the scenario now where they're filling out the paperwork and need to make sure the information's correct. So I'm always thinking, even myself, right, when I call customer service, when I just connect with a human, I love it because I could talk to that person. They could use whatever AI tools they have to make things fast and easier for them. But it's the person I still really want that connection with.
You know, that makes a lot of sense too, because like if it's one thing if I'm just like looking at casual information about money or whatever it may be, but when it's like a real thing, like this is going to have an immediate impact. And I need an answer
when you're
matters.
in the scenario making those decisions for yourself and your family, you still want a person.
Yeah, okay. You know what? That does kind of help me with my thoughts on the fears of this replacing people like you, because I mean you're very much needed in this space, and it sounds like what your experience has been, people still are going to rely on that. They're going to still look to that real comforting human answer.
Yeah.
Versus
for sure,
relying on,
especially with money. It's so personal.
No, it is. Okay, all right. I feel a little bit better about the industry now.
Good.
Hey, thanks for joining us here on Our 2 Cents.
And don't forget to hit us up in the comments with your 2 cents.